Namaste. Welcome to the Ilonggayogi podcast. My name is Kate. I am from Iloilo City. I am the founder of Healing Iloilo, where I teach daily yoga classes, and the founder of Mental Health Iloilo, a community that supports mental health awareness in Iloilo City. I share content on yoga, mindfulness, fitness, mental health, self-care, and healing. Before we get into it, I want you to know that I teach my classes every day at Walang Mansion. So if you're interested in taking a class with me, just head on over to Healing Iloilo's Facebook page to book a class. Hello, I'm so happy to be back and to be recording another episode. You know, these episodes, I don't always upload episodes like every single week or every month, but when I do, I always look forward to it, and that's been very intentional from the beginning. I knew that I was never gonna be uploading episodes like on the regular, and I wanted each episode to be intentional, to have like a purpose. And so every time that I do pick up my phone and I decide to do these episodes, I always look forward to it, and I'm always like excited to do these. So I'm really happy to be doing this right now, to be sharing updates with you with what's been going on with my life, especially just like the title says, my progress with my Bell's palsy. It's almost been 3 months since I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy, and so a lot has been happening, both because of Bell's palsy, but also like things in my personal life and everything else around that and in between. So I wanted to just go through that a little bit with you. And I also just want to say thank you for, being here, for taking the time to click on an episode to listen. And, if you decide to stay here, I am very thankful for that. If you decide to leave halfway through, I get it. I talk so much and I love talking. So, you're not forced to stay with me until the end. But if you can, it would be great. I will be sharing like a lot of the lessons that I've been learning. So I feel like most of the lessons that you might also gain so much from will be towards the end of this episode. So, that's something to keep you, I guess, here with me for a little while. So before I get into the Bell's palsy progress and just like the updates on that, because that's going to be the whole episode anyway, I would say a lot of things have been going pretty well. I feel like I've really slowed down because of Bell's. My condition has really encouraged me and I think inspired me to slow down a lot. But I also think it's because it's already the end of the term. So if you didn't know yet, I think most likely, if you know me, you'll know that I'm part of an organization. I'm part of GCASH, Iloilo Ilang. And so this is like, we're already towards the end of our term. So things are definitely slowing down a lot more than they were when we were like in the thick of it. Usually our busiest months are like March, leading up to March, April, all the way to bid season. So that's like June, July is bid season, July, August. So the past few months have been very busy and hectic, and it's just now that things have slowed down. And even though I have also taken on an additional role, an additional obligation, I feel like I've been managing it well enough. I don't know, that's just in my head, but sometimes what seems to be like well balanced to me on the outside, sometimes I get feedback that like I'm doing so much or I'm doing a lot, which I get, but at the same time, these are things that I put my heart into as well. As you know, I teach my classes. That's still a regular thing. I think what I've done with my yoga classes is I have stepped back a little bit from organizing a lot of events, and workshops. So I haven't been able to really do a lot of workshops lately. Usually I would do workshops and, special retreats and events, and I have been able to do one or two, but not so much, not so many. But I feel like I am incredibly lucky that for some reason, guest teachers just come to me, and the guest teachers like asked to teach or lead these special classes. And I feel like that's way better than if I were to teach it, because I always want, my students to experience other teachers as well, especially since I'm the only one teaching every single day, and I don't want them to get used to my style too much. I want them to be exposed to other teachers and how they practice and what their methodologies are. So I'm happy that a lot of other teachers from different modalities have approached me and have volunteered to lead classes, and that helps a lot. Like it keeps the community together, and it also brings in new people, new members at the same time. And at least, they get to experience new things. So I'm very lucky on that front, because I know that with JCI, sorry, I'm like burping a little bit because I just ate a very, very late lunch. Anyway, because with JCI, I am quite busy. It really does take up a lot of your time. So I'm glad that I still have my community, and for some reason, even with very minimal promotions online that I haven't been able to really post as frequently, a lot of students just keep coming in. And I think like that's just, I guess that's the lifespan or the cycle of a business, especially when it comes to yoga. Here I've noticed that it's like the students just find you, they just find you and they come to you, especially if you're good at what you do, or you treat your students well enough, and you have a beautiful space and all these things, and it's accessible to everyone. Like they just find you. And so I'm glad that I've been able to have that, especially now since I've said no to a lot of privates. Usually one-on-one sessions or the private sessions, whether that's like group or individual, those are income generating, because imagine you earn like per class. So just one student alone already pays you for your time, So because my schedule is it's taken up by my rehab, my therapy, and of course I don't want to add on to my busy schedule as it is, I've definitely had to say no to privates and to those special sessions. And sometimes I feel a little guilty, because of course I want to be able to support them somehow. I want to help through those sessions, and I know that there are some who really need it. But if I don't ensure that I'm also living a balanced, mindful life, and I just keep giving my time, my effort, my presence, then I'm easily gonna burn out. And so that's why I can't always like say yes to a lot of those private sessions. I can't say yes to a lot of the requests, especially when it comes to mental health support. I can't commit to a lot of support group sessions that I would do for my mental health community, because again, like if I do that, I would be super, super like drained and burnt out, and I want to avoid that as much as possible. So there's that. Besides my classes, as you know, I still have my full-time job, and I'm just very lucky that this company approached me and asked me to be part of what they do and offer wellness support for their employees, because I feel like it just aligns with who I am and what I do and what I'm naturally good at. So I'm thankful that I'm still with them. It's been over 2 years now, and it's been good. I'm pretty lucky that I'm in a good company, and that I'm learning as I continue staying with them. And of course it keeps me stable. It keeps me stable just financially, which is as important. So I'm really glad that I have that. And besides that, what I was sharing earlier, that I kind of accepted an additional obligation, is that I've been asked to help out once again in my family business. And so the family business is honestly, it's like the heaviest. It is the heaviest load, because it's a business. It's like, when it comes to any business, and this one is like a serious, legit business, because of course, like with my classes, Because it's kind of low income generating, it's not as demanding. I think the only thing that demands is my service. Like I have to physically be there and teach, and that is the draining part, the exhausting part. But for the family business one, you have tenants, you negotiate with people, and so it's kind of heavy. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of things that need to be kind of managed. And I think it's also because we're in transition. Again, since we're transitioning the roles from one person and then slightly to kind of to me and to my mom at the same time, who will be fully leading once she's here, once she retires, which she will be this year. So there is a lot of transition. There is a lot of gaps that need to be fixed, a lot of things that need to be managed. And that way, like, my goal is to set up like a system so that once we have that system, there's a structure, things will just flow smoothly, and it'll be much easier for anyone. If like anyone had to take over, it would be easier, so there just has to be like a system, and it has to be clear. So that's why it's kind of like right now the process medyo madugo, parang it's like a lot of work that has to be done, and it's a lot. Sometimes I get carried away because I do want to get the work done, but I have to remind myself that it can't be like my priority. So sometimes I have to like remind myself like this can wait. I have to put it on a day, or like work on it on a day that's really meant for this, so that it doesn't affect like my other obligations, especially my full-time job where I'm being paid for, and then my studio classes, which I need to show up. I need to make sure that I'm serving or like delivering what my clients ask for and pay for. So I just want to make sure that I do that. So there's a lot that I do. And of course, having a household that you also take care of as a homemaker, that's also like an additional job, honestly. So there's a lot that I juggle every day, but I personally also have found a system that works for me, and so I feel like everything's been going well. I've been not like forcing myself every day. So if I know that I'm kind of super ubus na, like super empty, low battery already, then I just like let it go. I just tell myself I'll let it go now. It's not a big deal, and then I'll come back to it tomorrow, or I'll come back to it when it's time. So I guess I've shifted my mentality a little bit, and so it has made everything much more manageable, and I feel like I don't get as much anxiety as I used to. I've been able to make more time, or really like prioritize my fitness as well. Like it's been important to me to run weekly now, so I try to run like at least twice a week. I try to practice like a full yoga practice at least twice a week as well, because that's like for my mental health, that's for my recovery at the same time. And also trying to find time to go to the gym, because lately I've been taking new medication for my endometriosis, and that kind of affects your bones. So it's important that I maintain my strength training so that it doesn't affect my bones that much. So that's kind of where I am. And so yeah, with everything else going on, I feel like I've found a good rhythm, and I think I've settled in this routine, especially managing, rehab sessions and therapy and work and everything. So it's been good. I feel pretty good about it. And that's why like today I just wanted to share like how Bell's Palsy has actually helped me to manage this busy life a little bit better. So let's go ahead and kind of do a quick rundown of what's going on with my Bell's Palsy. I just want to kind of give you an idea of how my recovery has been like. And so because it has been 3 months, I feel like a part of me, like I was sharing this with my doctor yesterday. So basically, as you know, I go to acupuncture sessions. Uh, last the last few weeks I've been doing it like 3 times a week. Same with my rehab, it's also another 3 times a week, but because of the budget constraints, I've had to opt to just doing 2 times a week sessions. So I do 2 times acupuncture and then 2 times rehab or physical therapy. And to me, that's very important that I maintain that, because, like, if you stop physical therapy, like, personally, I really feel a difference. It really does, like, slow down to the point of, like, it stops recovery completely for me, has. So, like, whenever as I continue doing these physical therapy sessions and all that, at least I see a little bit of progress every single day. Um, and as I was like doing my exercises earlier, I could see that it has made such a huge difference from where I was like a month ago. And I was kind of going through my older videos as well, which is why I like recording myself whenever I do those facial exercises, so I can remember, like where I was a few weeks ago, and see that there is progress. Because sometimes when you're dealing with it, like, it feels like there's no progress, and sometimes I get really frustrated. So like I was saying, I was sharing this with my doctor yesterday, and so for him, he told me, let's try another option, just so we could really like touch all bases and make sure that we're utilizing like all the available options for us, because he also wants me to heal, like to finally recover, so that this is like done, because he gets it. It's really expensive. That's one of the downsides of Bell's palsy, because it's like, I mean, with any other condition, but for this one, like, you really can't ignore it. You have to address it as much as possible. And, the only way is with therapy and with other modalities, like with alternatives as well. So like acupuncture helps, and then we're going to be trying like an additional manual therapy that he does. So that's like an additional payment, and then on top of that, I'll still be doing my physical therapy that's focused on Bell's palsy, because like with the acupuncture, it's really more of like energy flow and the eastern side, eastern side of medicine, and then you have my therapy, which is like more the western side of medicine. So kind of, as much, we just want to get this done and finished as much as possible. We're trying other different methods, and I'm glad that like my doctor offered that he'll just be giving me a discount, because he knows like it's very heavy. It's a lot. Like basically I'm spending like a whole month's allowance or a whole month's pay just on my sessions, just on treatment. Like that excludes everything else. So it is quite a lot. And I just keep telling myself that this is okay. This is manageable compared to if I were spending 100,000 pesos per month, which I know that other people do, especially if they have really like life-threatening illnesses. Like for me, I don't feel any pain, so I would rather have this than anything else. But that doesn't deny or invalidate the fact that it is very heavy on my wallet. And there are a lot of adjustments that have had to be done, which I'll get into more later on. But yeah, so it's quite a lot. But basically, what I've noticed so far, 3 months into this condition, my eyebrow and my forehead, the upper quadrant of my face actually can move now. Like I would say about 95% healed. The remaining 5% is just because I noticed that if I do my exercises, and I've done like the facial exercises, the massages, and the resist and thingy that they do in rehab, if you know, I noticed that when my eyebrow gets tired from all of that, and I still am trying to do those exercises, I do feel the muscle is weak. So it's like, when you also do physical exercise, like with your body, when you're trying to push yourself, but you're already really tired, you really feel the weakness, like you won't be able to continue. So it's like the same feeling with my brows. So that's kind of where it is, but at least it is moving. So when you look at it, like I can fully move my brows, I can lift it up and then kind of furrow my brows at the same time. So when we go down to my eyelids, so basically the area like right below my brow, close to my nose bridge, that part is still pretty weak. So that's why it's also hard. I can't fully close and blink my eye. You know, when you try to squeeze and scrunch your eye when you're trying to close it tightly. So I still can't do that. It still doesn't close completely. I can blink now, but there is a very tiny delay because of that area right below my brow near my nose bridge that is still not 100% healed. So I would say it's probably around like maybe 80%, because I remember when I looked back at my videos, like there was no movement there before. So like the muscles and the skin didn't move at all, but now there is movement. It's just that it's not fully cooperating yet. It doesn't like fully mirror the other side yet. So that's why I still tear up sometimes. Unlike before, I would like tear up insanely, like all throughout the day. My left eye would just always be tearing up. So the only thing that I do feel on this left eye is that it just feels tight, because again, it's like I can't really like move it completely. So that's the only thing that I feel and experience in that part. So there's like this sense of tightness. Same with the skin like along my nose bridge. So you know when you're trying to scrunch your nose, especially if you smell something bad, or you know that kind of facial expression. So I still can't do that as well. It's still kind of weak. So I would say probably a little lower, maybe like 60% that of movement. So it's still not 100%, but like that part along with like the outer part of my eye, there's still a little bit of weakness there, but there is movement. It's just not completely moving yet. Then we move down to my left nostril. So actually at the start of this, I couldn't move it at all. So you could really see when you're trying to enlarge your nostril, you know, the right nostril would like get really big, but the left nostril was not moving at all. So for a time, it really like the size of it like shrunk. And there were moments when it would be even hard to like breathe properly because, again, the nostril can't get any bigger. So it's like harder to take in air because of that. So that's still something that I'm dealing with, but there is more movement than there was in the past. So I'm really happy about that. Like at least I can move it. I can feel like around the nostril there is more movement now. I think it's more the bottom part of my nose that I still cannot move fully. So actually the lower quadrant of my face is the part that's still pretty weak. It's still like the slowest to recover. And so that's why like my smile is not 100% okay yet. Probably I would like say that my smile is at 30%, so it's much slower, especially like the edge of my lip, the edge of my mouth, the corner of my mouth actually. That part is the one that's still very weak. Like I can't move it yet. So I can't close like the outer corner of my lips yet, especially when I'm trying to blow into my mouth, or when I'm trying to eat. You know, it's still kind of hard when I'm trying to drink. Water still spills, so I still have to support it. And sometimes it's even hard to use a straw to like just take a sip. So it's still kind of hard. The lower part of my face still doesn't move, but there is a little bit of progress. I can see that like in how I talk. It's slightly better than before, but it's still not fully recovered yet. It's still not the same. And like most people, they always mention how they don't even know, they can't really tell. And I'm glad that I think it's because, I was able to address my Bell's palsy quickly, get into rehab. And then I really like took time every single day to do my therapy sessions, to do acupuncture. So I feel like that helped a lot in like not getting the worst case of Bell's palsy, and it didn't like develop further. So I think that's why. And of course with the meds as well, taking medication right away also was helpful. So yeah, I think it's just the lower part of my face still can't move. When I frown, there is a little bit of movement, but again, because around my lip, it's not all the muscles are working yet. It's not like a full frown. So again, it's still not it doesn't mirror the other side of my face yet, but there is movement. But I feel like I still got some ways to go, like probably another month to go. And I hope it's just a month, maybe a max of 2 months left, which is fine with me, because as long as in 2 months I do see a full recovery, because I'll be leaving by September. That's the only thing that's important to me, so that I can finally be done with it. Because that's the thing, with Bell's palsy, you just feel frustrated that it's taking so long, and then it's kind of frustrating that you can't move your face the way you want to move it. It's such a simple thing to do usually, and it's something that we don't even think about, but when you have Bell's, it's so hard, it's hard to speak sometimes. And there are some days, in the mornings, if I wasn't able to really give my facial exercises a lot of time and really focus on that you can really feel how your face just is paralyzed, you can't really move it fully. So it's just annoying. It's really annoying. And of course the expense that comes with it, it's also a lot. The time that it eats up, because of course I have to basically how many hours? 2, 4, probably a total of 6 hours per week just for this. So it really does take up a lot of your time, instead of using that time to rest or to work. So there's that. So basically, the things that I have learned, from this experience also have really changed a lot, about my mindset, how I perceive things. And if you hear lots of sounds, I'm in a parking lot and I'm in the car. That's how I record everything. It's so noisy and it's so loud. It's kind of, what's wrong with the world anyway. There was a car, and when they reverse, there's a voice recording. So it's what is that? Anyway, it really distracted me. Anyway, so one of the first things that I have learned from this, and I shared it on my socials as well, is that the value of, being patient, and understanding that things that take a while also are the most meaningful. They're the most meaningful, and you kind of appreciate it in a deeper way that you would never appreciate if it were to get to you or come to you immediately. So this delayed gratification is something that, again, in this world now, we don't always experience anymore, because we're so used to everything being faster. Your social media, being able to just check online and quickly get an answer, quickly shop by a click of a button, press of a button, it's being sent your way. Everything is just so much faster, and we kind of thrive on this instant gratification. So there's a lot of things that, especially with my Bell's palsy, it really grounds me and reminds me that many other things that are really valuable and that are really, I guess, meaningful, those are the ones that need a lot of time, that take a lot of time, and you have to honor that and respect that, and just let go. And so that's kind of what I've been experiencing with my Bell's palsy, because of course, for one, the recovery, it's not in my control at all. Like, I could go to all these different treatments and still my face, it might take a month, it might take months, years, weeks, I don't know, we never know, so like, it's like you just have to trust that all your effort does mean something and is valuable. And when the time comes that I'm fully recovered, there's like just this whole new appreciation of what my face can do, this new mindset that I've gained of like slowing down and learning to let go and learning to just like pause and not be in such a rush all the time, and putting yourself first, above work, above everything else. Like, your health also matters. And it's like, that you kind of understand that concept, but to actually practice it is something else. It's something that a lot of us struggle with. Oh my God, it's happening again. They turned on their car again. And there's like a lot of anyway, I'm just gonna ignore that, and hopefully you can ignore it too if you can hear it. But anyway, I'm gonna turn on the car because it's like too much for me. I thought I could ignore it, but I can't, guys. So you're with me in this experience. You're with me. Anyway, so it's a lot of slowing down and a different way of seeing things. So how I can relate that to what I'm going through in my life right now. Basically, right now I'm in my 30s. I'm married. And so there are a lot of things that I feel like I should be doing, that I should be accomplishing, that I know like I'm still far away from. Like, there are a lot of things that I feel like by this time I should have this amount of savings, or by this time I should be investing in something, or by this time I should be earning this much, So there are just so many things that I want to do. There are so many things that I want to accomplish. And it's like in your mind, it's like you wish that this could be the reality, but you also recognize that, it doesn't come that easily. It doesn't come that easily at all. I have been so used to just, I guess, living a comfortable life. And now that when you're married, it's like, now you're fully responsible for your finances. You're fully responsible for your household, for your savings, and you can't really rely on anyone else. And I think that was my first fault, or my first weakness, is that I was definitely quite dependent, very, very dependent. And because I lived in such a comfortable way, in a privileged way, as much as I hate to admit that, it is the truth. And there are many things that I didn't really learn at a young age, that I'm only learning now, that I'm only starting to realize now, that a lot of the things that came so easily when I was younger, actually in reality does not happen. It doesn't happen very often. And, I'm grateful that I had that experience, and that I had a mom and family that really like gave me everything, gave me the world. But of course, this is what they say, that when you raise your kids, you got to teach them how to work for what they want, how to I guess be resilient, how to keep going, how to not give up so easily, because these are the lessons, the life lessons, and the, I guess, the characteristics that you really need to survive the real world, and it was only like in the past couple of years, especially with everything that happened with me and my family, it was the only time like my bubble was burst, and like I realized that, I was living such a sheltered life all this time. I thought I wasn't, but when you look at it, I really was. And now that I'm kind of I've been thrust in the real world, I see like how things actually really go, like what the reality of things are, and that you have to work for the things that you want, and they don't come so easily. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of it takes a lot of you know, not giving up, you know, like really pushing yourself to keep going even when you don't want to anymore, to get what you want. And so that's kind of where I am right now. And like with my Bell's palsy, it's making me realize that yes, these things, they take time, but eventually you will get there. Like, that's the most reassuring thing, I guess, about Bell's palsy, is because, you know, the feedback that you get from everyone, from doctors, even from my own personal experience, because I've experienced this before, is that you do get what you want in the end. Like, if you want recovery, it will happen. You will get there, and it will feel so good. Like, you will there's just like huge sigh of relief. But it takes a lot of work. You know, you got to show up for those treatments. It costs a lot of money, but you got to keep doing it. You got to be disciplined in like doing those facial exercises even on your own, so that you can recover right away. And the same goes with like life stuff, you know, like if you want to be at a certain point in your life, you want to achieve something, like it takes a lot of time. You have to put in the work, and you got to be patient that it's going to take a long time. You know, not many things are just going to happen right away. Just so it's like a little clearer, you know, when it comes to having a house, for one, again, we're very lucky that we've been given a house, right? And we didn't have to do all of those payments or mortgages or anything like that, any taxes. Like, we don't have to worry about that right now, as of now. And so we're very, very lucky with that. But there are times, like for me, sometimes I get very impatient, and that's how I've always been, even as a young kid. Like, if I wanted to do something with the house or with my room, I would like instantly ask for it and do it, you know? But now, like, these things take a little bit more time, and it takes a little bit more money and effort, which I have to, you know, I mean, I have to oversee. I have to look after that. And so it's things like this that I realize, oh, having a home, having your dream home isn't as easy as you think it would be. You know, it's not as easy as you thought it was. And when I look at it, even like my mom, it was only in her 60s that she was able to build her dream house, like her dream home here in the Philippines. And imagine, like, I'm half her age, you know, there's really no point in me like rushing to get to that point already, you know, and there's really no point in me in trying to get a shortcut, because again, the old me, the younger me might do that. But now, like, I realize that it's not worth it, you know, it's not worth it. So even like with the house where we are now, there are many things that I wish I could do, that I just want to do this and fix this, and I want to make it into this beautiful home, you know, like that's what would make me so happy. But of course I realize that that's going to take work, that's going to take money, that's going to take time. And right now, where we are right now, like, that's something that is not practical to spend on. You know, I'm spending on my treatment, and so like it's impossible and I should not, it's not smart at all to even like do that at the same time, you know. So it's like I have to remind myself, like, let's be calm, because once I'm better, then we can start to work on that, you know. And at least by that time, you know, me and my husband, we don't have to worry about finances so much. Then we can worry about, you know, taking care of the house and fixing it little by little. It is kind of frustrating at times, especially if you're a homeowner, then you know that there are times when you look at your house and you're like, oh, I need to fix this. And it's like one thing after another that needs to be fixed. And it can kind of be overwhelming. But again, like, I think that's really part of owning a house, or at least like taking care of a house. There's a lot of responsibilities to do. It's never ending fixing of this and that and maintenance of this and that. But you know, there's always, parang may kapalit. There's always like pros and cons. And that's something that I'm also learning and understanding a little bit more. And the same goes with like our marriage. You know, there are many things that we want to do, that we want to be this and that, but a lot of that takes a lot of time. And again, it takes a lot of work. And so I think that's just where I am right now. That's kind of the theme of my life right now. Recognizing that these things take a lot of time. But these things that do take time are the most meaningful, the most valuable. And like when you look back at that whole journey, it just becomes so special. It's like through that journey that you grow the most, that you learn the most, and that it really shapes you to be the best version of yourself and to really live the best version of your life. And it's because of that. If I kept taking shortcuts like I used to, then I'll just never learn. I'll never learn my lesson. I'll never grow. I'll never understand like the plight of these things. And that's what makes it even more special, So, I think that's been the theme of my life. And I think I would have never like understood that if it weren't for my experience with my Bell's palsy right now. Having Bell's palsy, it really just makes you feel so vulnerable. Like, I just feel so vulnerable. If you experience Bell's palsy, I'm sure you feel the same way. Like, we feel so insecure about how we look, how we speak, how we talk. A lot of things change, There are many times where I would rather not be out in social gatherings. Like, I have to think twice about it because, again, I don't like having to like deal with this, having one side of your face be paralyzed. It's kind of, again, very frustrating. But at the same time, these things happen for a reason. And it really like made me look at my life and really like make an inventory of like everything in my life. What matters to me? What doesn't matter to me anymore? What's valuable to me and what's not valuable to me? And because of that, like, I've been able to find more balance, I guess, find more joy. I've been able to get to know myself even better, get to know myself and the people around me a lot more. And it also has just like brought me closer to my husband and brought me closer to my little mini family that I have, my dogs and my husband, and then our little cute home. Because we're in this journey together. We're in this journey together, and there's a lot more, that I've realized because of this. And it's really like an unfolding, an unraveling of the old version of me to now stepping into this new chapter of my life, now stepping into a new version of me and using everything that I've learned to I guess like guide me through this. So yeah, I hope that somehow that you could, some of the things that I've said like resonated with you, or maybe again, like if you know someone who is dealing with the same thing as I am, maybe it could help them. But I always want these experiences that might be kind of a negative. I always want to see it in a different light and see it in a positive way, that these things are meant to support your growth and your healing in such a deep way that if you only take the time to really assess and really like embrace it and fully receive it, that's where you start to see, why all of this happened, why this needs to happen. And it just makes life so much richer, and such a beautiful experience. So that's it for me. I hope that you were able to gain something from this, from spending all this time with me, listening to me, and whatever it is that you're going through, I just want to let you know that you're not alone in that. There's always someone around you that's willing to help you. Please do not take that for granted, or do not forget that. And I just, I believe in you, and I believe what you're capable of. So just keep going, just keep going and trust the whole process. Thank you so much for being here with me and joining me in this episode of the Ilonggayogi podcast. I honor you and your presence here today. Share this episode to your loved ones and follow this podcast to stay updated on the next episode. Thank you so much, and until the next one.